How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good as well. How is it being in London again?
It's beautiful. I just got here yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
but I've done a bunch of things since getting here, so it feels like I've been here for a couple of days already. And I really, truly love it here. My first time out here was last year for my Wembley show in
Oh,
July.
no way. That was your first time?
My first time,
Ah.
but I've come back a few times. I've even just like made it a point when I don't have work here to come through for like a week in between all the Europe stuff. So
Yeah.
I like it here a lot.
Oh, that's good. I mean, the weather is very different because you're in Chennai at the moment,
Well,
or
I've
back
been
in
jumping
Cali?
between like Chennai, California, and Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Colorado is where I technically live now. But these last 15 months, there's just been a lot of travel.
Yeah.
But my last trip to London, the first 3 days I was here, it was super sunny every day. So I was like, all right,
that's so rare, by the way.
It.
We don't have weather like this at all.
Sure.
Just to kind of talk about, you know, just your music and everything in the past. Like since Ariye, I feel like the last 10 years have been incredible for you as well.
Sure.
And then you did Coachella this year. Well done, by the way.
Thank
and
you.
You were, I believe, the first South Indian artist to perform at Coachella.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then you did the the Sydney
Opera
House.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's all been great. I think Coachella was something that, and I understandably so many people leading up to it, like, yo, you're gonna do Coachella, that's crazy. And, like even my homies, like everyone. And the first weekend just like blurred by. It was so I barely got to like be present and take things in. But luckily there's 2 weekends, and the second it was still a great performance. But
how long were you there? Sorry.
So we went the first weekend, and then we did 2 shows in between in San Francisco and Seattle,
nice.
and then went back for the second weekend. So we made like a mini tour.
Mm-hmm.
But that second weekend, I knew what to expect, so I was super present through the whole thing. And some shows that you do feel like just like everything flows like water almost, you know. And that was one of those shows where it's just the whole kind of space was buzzing the whole time, and it was really special. And to be the first South Indian artist, which I didn't know until after the first weekend.
That might have made you more nervous.
Yeah, it just, I mean, it's just like, but those kinds of things, I think about it sometimes. I mean, it's really cool, but I try not to think about those things when I'm actually like either performing or making music, because really people don't care. They do, but they really, they care about the music first and foremost.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, that second weekend I ended with the Tirpugar and Tamar. And that
was amazing because you had like silence in the audience as
well
after,
isn't it? It was
really
really cool. Like I started singing that piece, and I always sing it just my voice and no instruments. And people just went quiet.
I can imagine. I've got goosebumps even like listening to you right now saying it. It must have been incredible.
It was, and I think in the moment I didn't really. Again, like when I'm performing, I'm mentally like checked out and just feel like I'm channeling. But once I got off stage, and it was actually the next morning. A friend of mine, he sent me a clip of that. He's like, hey, you should post this up. It seems really special. And I watched it, and I was like, oh, wow. You know, and it just, it really affirmed this kind of, I've always felt like I'm an ambassador of where I come from and my roots and what I represent.
Absolutely.
And that just felt like a true testament to that. So it was a great, proud moment, and also a reference point of what I wish to do with the next 10, 20 years of my career.
Okay, awesome. Well, I was going to ask you actually, in terms of like your music, like how do you think it's going to evolve over the next few years? Yeah,
I think, I mean, the last decade and change of my career has primarily been based in my film work, playback singing, which has been beautiful. You know, growing up, I always especially loved Drum Monster's music. And my grandfather was a part of the film industry as an arranger and a composer, as well as a Carnatic musician. But I never thought that I would be in that space growing up. I went to college like to write my own music and to work on that. And that's what I thought my career path was going to be. But the cinema stuff happened serendipitously. And I've loved what I've done so far. And I feel like it's really shaped me, both in terms of music and the way I view music, but also in terms of the fan base that's given me. And one big thing that it did is once my career really took off over there, I moved to India for a little bit. And that allowed me to deeply just embrace my identity in a way that I'd never been able to before. And really kind of come full circle with the understanding that who I am is not either Indian or American order, but just like one spectrum that exists with all these things within it. And I feel like the last decade and a half has really set the foundation for me.
Yeah.
I released my first English language album last year, and that was a big step in this point of inflection that I feel like I'm in right now. I think the next phase of my career, the next decade, what it will really be is I'll still sing for movies. I'll always do that because I love it.
We love it too.
Thank you. But really also extend my original music and my own sound into Tamil, you know, and make Tamil original music or different Indian languages as well.
That would be awesome.
For sure. And just take the sound forward. I think I've been put in this very unique position where I have a deep perspective on my Tamil roots, as well as having grown up in the States, you know, those roots as well. And I've kind of been placed like in the center point where I can look at both with the bird's eye view. And I'm just excited to make this. I'm working on my next album right now that I'm super excited about. And I think...
Is it going to be in Tamil?
It's going to have both, for sure.
Okay,
fine. We're still deciding whether it's going to be like one Tamil album, one English, or just take a few songs. You know, I'm not sure yet. Yeah. But there's definitely going to be a lot of pieces in Tamil. And
how exciting.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's just, I'm excited to make that musical statement. I'm excited to take what makes me me and have it proliferate through the world and just really, again, like I was saying before, be an ambassador for my roots and allow those roots to kind of really kind of, I feel like our perspective is yet to be felt globally. It's starting to happen now, which is super exciting. And I just want to make sure I do my part in that.
Yeah, no, I think that's what makes you so relatable because you're from, I feel like both worlds, which a lot of people living in the UK, you know, a lot of your fans, we have roots elsewhere, but then we kind of feel like we belong here as well. And I think that's why you do that so beautifully with all the things that you've done in the last 10 years as well.
Thank you.
One other question I had was, what does success mean to you at this point in your career?
That's a good one. It's interesting. When I first started my career off, I was enamored by celebrity and fame, and definitely that was a deep part of my pursuit at that point in time. And then you experience it, and you exist within that, and you experience the really good things about it and the parts of it that are a bit isolating or whatnot. And I think I've really grown and understood my relationship with that now. So now my definition of success is just having moments of sincere impact where I can feel that I'm changing the way someone feels. You know,
that's powerful.
Yeah, and I those moments are what feed my soul the most. Yeah. Even yesterday during the press conference, like there's just certain moments. It doesn't have to be a huge like stadium show all the time. Sometimes it's a conversation one-on-one. Sometimes it's like something intimate. But you feel that, like for example, yesterday I felt like I was in a space to really give myself. You know what I mean? That's
amazing.
And I could tell that energy was embraced and given back to me. And I think that's what success is to me now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having those moments happen. And it can happen from the most intimate scale to the largest scale. And I think that's what's really beautiful about music. For sure.
That's amazing. I find that really inspiring, actually, like just being impactful and having that as your goal rather than all the other things. Because I'm sure you've been, like you said as well, there were good moments, but then there's isolating moments as well.
Yeah.
So saying that, how do you stay grounded and maintain a sense of balance between your personal life and your career?
The grounded part, I think there's a few key things over there. One is just like, for me, I'm really blessed that my relationship with music, which is now my career, but my relationship with it started when I was really young, when I was 3, and my mother started teaching me Carnatic music. And I'm blessed that it's so deep. My relationship with music is rooted in something that's very deep. You know, Carnatic music has
been around you.
Been around me my whole life, saved my life in like so many times. Just like in terms of getting to sit down and practice sometimes feels like the most therapeutic thing I could ever do. And I still to this day practice for an hour to 3 hours every day, depending on where I'm at, if I'm traveling or whatever. Yeah. But I think because of that, I'm grounded in my art form. You know, it's allowed me to really like firmly plant my feet and feel like wherever I go, whatever context I'm in, I have this thing that's really holding me down that can, because of that, lift me up. personally, I have an incredible unit, my family around me that they keep me super grounded. You know, like they're my biggest. I won't even say cheerleaders because we all have been building this thing together. But they're my biggest supporters in terms of before I even knew how good I was or the potential and the scope of what I could achieve, they knew.
Yeah.
And they believed in it far more deeply than I did until later on when I really embraced it and understood. So having them is super key, and they also keep me humble. They they know when like if I do something that's not that fly, they're like, yo, that wasn't that great, man. Like
I can so relate. I have cousins who do the exact same thing to me, so
it's really important.
It really is,
especially like I don't know, this artistic pursuit and everything that comes with it. There are moments where you get complacent or or you start to buy into the hype a little bit, and the people around me don't let me do that ever. And I think that's it keeps me human.
Yeah.
I think the strangest thing about this career has been once you get to a point where you feel like your name belongs to the world, right? And that you no longer are as connected to the parts of you that make you just a regular human being.
Exactly,
but my family does that to me, like, and I'm so grateful to them for that. In terms of personal and professional or musical balance, I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, that's definitely something that I'm starting to prioritize now more. For the longest time, I was just going like constantly with my music and touring a lot and just on the road. Like I said, these last 15 months have kind of been constant movement. But I've been thinking about it more of the need and necessity to make sure I also figure out the other parts of my life and prioritize them.
That's amazing.
For sure.
Very inspiring as well. So one of the reasons I wanted to interview today is because I advocate mental health a lot on my platform, and I know mental health is still something quite taboo in the South Asian community, especially amongst the men as well. So just like how you were saying the last 15 months, of traveling and everything, like how do you look after your mental health, especially when you're working so much?
Sure. I'm a deeply spiritual person, and I think my relationship to the divine and God has really helped. When I was younger, it was a little bit more just subconscious or just not as present in my life, and as I've gotten older, something that I really hold on to. And I think that has been a huge factor in just me being able to weather certain storms mentally. I think
like praying and
praying, going to the temple, singing. Again, coming from Carnatic music, and so much of it is based on Hindu texts or stories. Just like practicing sometimes feels like prayer, but also praying, and also having like my daily routine and having my moments of really tapping in and having conversations with God. That has helped a lot. I think, again, another thing is kind of a repeat answer, but my family, like when it really comes down to it, my dad manages me, so we move together a lot. I spend a lot of time with my sister and my mom, or all of us together. And the struggles with mental health, what comes with it is just the ricocheting of things in your mind, and not being able to express and get it out of your system. And I have that around me. Now, there are certain days, and being a creative, being a musician is, I'm hesitant to say this, but it's a double-edged sword in that there's such a deep fulfillment in getting to tap into the sonic energy that for me is very profound, and getting to express that. On the other side of it, you're always tapped into your emotional space, and there's something that's really tricky about that, because you're sometimes at the whim of your emotions. And what I've tried to do is just really spend time with myself and have those, it's great to externalize conversations, but sometimes you have to sit down in silence and, really kind of be honest with yourself and let yourself reflect. And I make sure that's a positive of traveling so much. And I go to new cities a lot. And I make it a point just to, if I'm in a city where a lot of people know me, I throw a hat on and like some shades, and I still walk around and just get my time to just kind of like be by myself. And, for sure. And I think that's really important.
Absolutely.
That's been my experience with it.
No, that's really good. You mentioned earlier that your dad manages you. How is that working with family and having your dad managing you?
It's amazing. I know that in my corner I have someone who's going to go 10 times harder than I am, on any given day. And like there's obviously the trust part of it, which is beautiful, but I
Mm.
think more important than just like the trust that he's going to, you know, do the right thing is that the fact that if I have to lean back on someone and I need a push, you know, I have that person. I know that like when it comes down to it, he's going to like fiercely and fearlessly like
protect you as well.
Protect, but more than that, go after this stuff with me. So I never feel like I'm alone in the pursuit, because
nice.
you know, it gets intense. I feel like what I've been doing and what we're doing is a lot of the stuff hasn't been done before. So there's not much of a blueprint, especially what we're now doing in the West. It's never been done. So because there's no blueprint, it's not like I can just kind of like look at some other artist's arc and say, let's just do that. We have to really build it. And it's not without its moments of tension, you know, obviously, especially when you're with family, you're very close, and he knows everything about me. I know mostly everything about him. So it comes with that. But the tension's always only because we're both so passionate about what this thing is. And yeah, the support is always there. But more important than the support, it's just the energy, the engine. Like when my energy lapses a little bit, I know that there's someone who's going to bring that
to pick you up. Yeah,
sure.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What challenges have you faced in the industry, and how have you overcome it?
I think like the most basic challenge was just like when I spoke about before, after my first song came out, I just wasn't really getting calls, and I didn't. I thought everything would just start clicking immediately, but it didn't. And that was like the biggest moment or like time. It was about 4 years of just me being like, what's going on? Like, what am I going to do? And the way I overcame that was just, again, just like surrendering to music and letting that guide me. And it was really good that happened, because instead of prioritizing the fame and all that, I prioritized the music and my relationship with music. And that was that. Since then, I mean, like since 2016 onwards, I think the biggest challenges are some of the stuff we spoke about. I think finding joy, like, or rather, there's certain moments in your life where your career is going incredibly well, and everyone is coming up to you and be like, yo, it's so dope to see you do this and that and that. But you still internally feel maybe a little sad one day, or unfulfilled or empty, you know? And I think it's like those micro moments that I've learned to figure out. And in those moments, you sometimes feel guilty for feeling that way, because like, again, really externally there is a sense of people just looking like, oh, he's killing it. But yeah, I think the way I've overcome those points in my life, or those moments, is just to not take myself too seriously. I think that's like one of the biggest things. I think I was talking about this yesterday, but I allow myself days of not doing anything. You know what I mean? And just chilling and watching TV, or, you know, whatever it is. And
that's so important. I think sometimes people are so scared to procrastinate. And I think it's so important to allow yourself to just rest and do
just
nothing.
Exist. Yeah, for sure. And I know that I'm on like this journey, and there's a lot of ambition, and there's a lot that I see in the future that not only do I want to achieve, like I kind of know it's going to happen, but it's like I know I'm traversing or scaling a mountain. But even within that, it doesn't have it can't be a constant. You have to give yourself time. You know what I mean? Sometimes. And that's what I've learned. And that's really fared me well these last few years, especially, is taking sometimes it's just half a day of like going on a walk. Sometimes it's a couple of days. Sometimes just a quick moment of breathing and just like, you know, be like, everything's cool, you're good, you know. So that's the kind of stuff that really helps me. It's been more of those micro moments rather than like big challenges. There's been some of those as well. But I feel that once you have the ability to deal with the micro moments, that really equips you to take on the bigger challenges. You can deal
with the bigger things. So what would your morning routine be like then?
Yeah, I mean, on my best days, like when I'm home and I'm on my routine properly, I like to be up at like 6:30, practice. I box when I can, so I do that. And then probably write a little bit. Normally, like, take some business calls and all that stuff first half of the day, so that the second half of the day I can just immerse myself in creating, or if I've already made music, thinking about visual spaces and all that. Depending on where I'm at, if I have a recording, normally those happen in the afternoon. And then I wind down, you know.
That sounds good.
I having that routine. But unfortunately, when you're moving around a lot,
exactly.
It becomes a lot harder because you sleep at like 2 in the morning or wake
jet
up at
lag,
like, all that stuff.
Exactly.
But there's a couple, like when I wake up, I make sure to just like, there's like 3-4 things that I do wherever I'm at, and no matter what time it is. So those 4 things, again: practice, exercise, pray, get a good meal in.
Good. That's amazing.
Sure.
As a hairstylist, I have to ask about your hair.
Oh, no.
What's your routine with your hair? Really?
There's no
it's
routine.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think anyone watching, they're gonna, all the men watching, they're gonna be like, no, you must have a magic potion or something.
I wish I did, but no, I don't. I just try to like untangle it as much as I possibly can, you know. That's it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, use conditioner every so often, but even that, like, I'm not that good with it. I have a couple, like, depending on what city I'm in Chennai, I have my guy that I always go to. I have my person in like New York when I'm there. There's certain places, and most of the time, they'll like
found anyone like in London.
I got a haircut yesterday.
Oh,
and that
nice.
dude was great. So I probably have a person here now.
That's cool.
But my guy in Chennai normally scolds me for the first 10 minutes. Like, you definitely haven't been taking care of your hair, huh? So I definitely don't have a routine.
Right.
But I like my hair. So yeah.
No, thank you so much for this. Let's talk about the concert that's coming up. So I've been to one of your KL shows. So I used to live in KL for 4 years. So I went to one of your shows there, and it was incredible.
Do you remember when it was?
I'm trying to think. You did play some English songs as well, so I'm trying to think when it would have been.
Okay, was it a big crowd?
It was very intimate. It was a very intimate, and you had like literally like 50 or 60 people standing, but all of us were sitting. It was so intimate.
I think I remember that. So KL has some of my favorite shows I've done.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Yeah, no, we like really enjoyed watching you, and a lot of my cousins went to your London one. I didn't get a chance to come, but what can we expect this time round? Yeah,
I feel like the last show in London and Wembley really just kickstarted this energy wave I've been on since, which has been super inspiring and just like beautiful. And I'm so grateful for that show to kind of like have been a source point almost for a lot of that. This October when we're at the O2, well, first, just in terms of scale, it's going to be a step up from last year. But I think in terms of
a step up when you performed 3.5 hours straight. What's a step up from that?
Well, it's going to be similar to that. I think just by sheer amount of like people in the room.
Yeah.
But what it's going to feel like, I kind of have an inkling of what I feel like it's going to feel like is a real celebration of like from 2012, from Adiye to now, of where I'm at. And feel like a victory lap of sorts. I don't know. It's been such a special year, and this is a really special city to me, for sure. And
we all love you too.
Thank you. And yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be most of my Tamil discography. Some Telugu songs as well, and a couple of my English songs. But really, it's going to be a journey. My shows are normally broken up into like 4 sections, and we really built this kind of arc where we take the audience along this journey with us. And there's certain songs where we're on stage going crazy and just jumping around and having a good time like that. And other times, like there's just like some very intimate moments as well. So really kind of going through the emotional spectrum and musical spectrum, and not only singing my own hits, but also I love taking some songs from the 90s and reinterpreting them for stage. So do that. But yeah, it's probably again going to be like a 3.5 hour show of just like pure
I can't wait. I'll be coming this time, not missing it. I can't wait. I wanted to keep it a little bit light. Let's do a rapid fire question.
Yeah.
Have you done this before? Probably have.
Yeah, they get me stressed out sometimes.
I swear they're going to be very easy questions or easy ones.
Right.
And yeah, just first thing that just on top of your head. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Me too. Favorite comfort food?
Sambar sadhan.
Ah, nice. Dream collaboration?
Well, I got 2.
Okay.
One, I've never worked at any capacity with Kamal Hassan, sir, so he's one.
Nice.
And then Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Toronto or London? I mean,
no answer. I'm not doing that. I'm in London now.
I knew.
I'm in London, so I'll say London, but Toronto, I love you, I promise. Yeah.
I knew that was going to be controversial. Okay. Last song stuck in your head?
That's a good question.
Could be.
I know. The Kunde Kundin Kunde Kundin. That's been on repeat. I've been like, that's my like travel song.
Oh,
and
that's
it's been
nice.
Like super. I play that whole album a lot, but that song's been like playing in my head a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
If not a musician, what would you be?
Beats me. I don't know. I've kind of always known. Maybe a writer.
Okay. Yeah, I can see you doing that. A book everyone should read.
Oh, that's a good one. Catcher in the Rye, J.D. Salinger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One word to describe yourself.
Searching.
Searching.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Thank you.
Okay. And your go-to karaoke song?
I don't karaoke. I have a rule.
Really?
I don't do it.
Oh my God.
I always feel so weird because everyone's having like this good time. Normally, like have had a couple of drinks and just like enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And I take like anytime I sing, I take it very seriously.
Of course.
So I can't like be in a spot and like joke around while doing it. I feel like very uncomfortable. And then if I go all out, then I'm just gonna show everyone up in a weird way and might throw the vibe off. So I go chill, but I don't participate.
Okay, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
I always wondered what it would be like for musicians doing karaoke.
I have friends that get mad at me and be like, "Oh man, you're being pretentious. Just sing the damn song." I'm like, I'm cool.
Thank you so much. This has been such an honor to interview you.
Thank you.
Loved all your answers. I knew you were gonna like really give it to me. So thank you so much. And I hope. Thank you. Yeah. And I really hope that you have a great time in London.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see you perform as well.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.